The first thing that came to me when I was asked to do this presentation was a plane designed by Norman Foster. I thought I'd flatter you all by saying that I think architects are generally the best product designers, and Lord Foster is actually a trained pilot, and this plane he did for NetJets is, I think, the most beautiful plane that exists. It's one long, clean line. The other object, which I think is absolutely fantastic, is the Hermes helicopter, which was designed by a friend of mine called Gabriele Pezzini. It was commissioned by a woman called Lady Carol Bamford, who commutes to London daily from Oxfordshire in this sort of vision of leather and cashmere. Wally yachts are perhaps my favorite objects in the world. It is what I like most in life, which is one long, simple, clean line, like my tattoo here, which was also done by Luca in Milan in April, actually. These yachts are designed by Luca Bassani Antivari, who I think is a man of the best taste. The interiors and branding of Air India, I just think, are the most incredible thing. One of the most incredible creative projects to come out of India. The 747s used to have something called the Emperor Lounges, which were the most luxurious first-class cabins in the sky, and I think it's the best example of branding around the world. The next few slides are sort of where India has inspired me. Last weekend I was in Srinagar, which was utterly beautiful, but which was fascinating for its craftsmanship, particularly its papier-mâché, and you'll see a lot of papier-mâché projects coming up in the magazine because of that. The second place which has been super inspiring was a trip to Pondicherry earlier this year, where, I mean, the colors, the antiques, I've never spent so much money on antiques. I actually bumped into Vanita Chaitanya on the street, and she took me antiquing, and of course made me spend lots of money, but the craftsmanship there as well, Jean-François Lesage, it was a game changer of a weekend for me. This slide is quite interesting. It's taken last weekend, or 2 weekends ago in Paris. I was staying in that room, I saw a dimmer switch. I had an idea, we're working on a light issue, I drew it on that notepad, and then on the right is the page that will be in the next issue of AD. It's quite a story of how travel does inspire creativity. This was also taken on the same trip to Paris. It's a beautiful ring designed by Boivin, which is a very important jeweler in the 1930s. I came back, and the next day a girlfriend of mine asked how to set a 4-carat diamond, and I said you should set it like this, which led to a conversation with Case Design in Mumbai, who are architects who are designing it. This is my favorite house that we've published in AD. It's just outside of Marrakesh, designed by an outfit called Studio KO in Paris, who became so successful at Moroccan houses that they now have an office there, and recently did the Pierre Berger Museum. I was on holiday in Tangier earlier this year. It was the most beautiful place I've been. The first lunch I had there, I was sat with 5 AD 100 architects, not Indian AD 100 architects, but AD, the US version. So this was Via Grini, Jean-Louis Diegno, and Vincent van Duysen, but they're the most beautiful houses I've seen. India in general has inspired the magazine for me, from Kashmir to Pondicherry to Benares, and in particular inspired our craftsmanship issue, which was hand embroidered and hand painted and done with tie and dye, 20,000. Like Salil, I also travel a lot, so I own about only 7 or 8 pieces actually, all in navy, jeans, a shirt, a jacket which currently doesn't fit because I've put on weight, but I'm very into the idea of travel has really inspired a capsule wardrobe that I can wear to anything at any time. However, I used to be a fashion journalist for 7 years, and so before that I did love more than 7 items of fashion. The best collection I ever saw was a collection called the Chanel Métier d'Art Paris-Bombay collection in 2012. As you can see, it was super beautiful. It wasn't just inspired by the shapes, but it was actually made by, a lot of it was made with Indian craftsmanship. I think all of you must know the Louis Vuitton Objet Nomade collection, which is a highlight of Salone when we go. I think these objects here were designed by Patricia Kohler, Raw Edges, and I forget the other one, the Campana brothers, but it's a brilliant project. This is another example of where I went to an exhibition in London at the Parasol Unit gallery called Parasol Unit, where I saw and met the artist Rana Begum. who does these folding sculptures. Then on the plane home, I did that small sketch in the middle, and then later our first art issue is on the right. So it's a great example of how it actually inspires me. Jean Prouvé cabin is, for me, the absolute dream. They were actually built as emergency housing, but they are now sold for millions of dollars, and they're used as sort of pool houses or sort of cabins in Scotland by sort of rich people. But I think it's the dream to own one of these. I personally use Muji luggage, which I think is exceptional value for money. If I could afford it, I'd have Tumi luggage, but not Tumi, Rimowa. But the best luggage, and I do know someone who owns it, is this suitcase designed by Mark Newson for Louis Vuitton. It's very light, and it's not made of leather. It's a very clever design. Mask is an interesting restaurant in Bombay, designed by Ashish Shah, and with a chef called Pratik Sadhu, who recently took me foraging into the national park somewhere in Kashmir, where we were looking for some random flower that ended up there, and it shows that it's a unique place. The last two slides, I would like to inspire you and say, please come to the AD Design Show, which is happening October 26, 27, 28. It really is going to be a very boutique and interesting niche show of Indian and international design. We've got lots of projects. BB Doshi is opening it. We have something called the Laura Hamilton apartment, where we're rebuilding an apartment from the Yacht Club in Mumbai inside the NSCI Dome. And it's why I'm no longer allowed to travel until October 26th. Thank you very much.